Welcome to Legacy Conversations, a channel where we preserve military memories and history.
Hello everyone, it's Koos here. I'm quite excited today. We're bringing you an episode from the SAAF in Port Elizabeth, and it's a former Mirage pilot, Trevor Bernberg, and he's speaking about the Harvard, of which he was also an instructor pilot, and he's going to tell you quite a few stories about it. But before we start, let us thank our sponsors first. I've been asked by many people how I can assist the channel. Now, there are various ways. For now, I want to speak about the Patreons. You can join the Patreons where you support us by donating $5 a month. If you want to do more than $5, of course, you're welcome. But $5 is the minimum. And it's completely free in the sense that if you don't want to carry on with it, you just cancel your subscription and then the $5 will not be deducted from you anymore. Now, what you get out of it from the Patreons is you see many of the videos you see first, and you have direct access to me. So if you want to talk to me, or you have ideas, or you want to just meet somebody who I have access to, normally through the patrons, we will definitely bend backwards to assist. So it's a good cause, because we need the money to pay for the internet, for equipment, for fuel. When I was in South Africa recently, we drove almost 10,000 kilometers to record all the different museums and aircraft and people and armored vehicles and things like that. And the Patreons are the one who is paying for the fuel by making their donations. Now, there's 100,000 people a month who come to Legacy. They watch on average 30,000 hours, between 25 and 34,000 hours a month for videos, and out of that 100,000, only 50 people as I speak here now, which is January 2025, is willing to give us $5. So if you have $5, please go to the link. You can find it everywhere underneath the videos. You can also find it under this video. Go to Patreon, sign up, and let me see you in there at Patreons. Thank you for listening, and let's get back to the video. Hello, Internet. I'm excited. I'm always excited when I speak to people. But this is special because we're standing next to a Harvard, and I'm sure all of you have seen them. If you haven't seen them, you heard them. The sound of freedom. That's what I say always. And it's here at the SAAF Museum in Port Elizabeth. And guys, if you can ever visit this place, please do so. Don't just drive past it. There's a really fascinating aircraft here. As this series about the museum will show you. And they need assistance. So I will ask you that should you be here and you can donate something, please donate something. I put 500 rands down. I dare you to match me. But since I don't know much about aircraft, I've seen them in pictures. We've got the SAAF here. Thank you for coming, sir. May I ask, where do you come from? How did you ended up flying this machine?
Well, Koos, thank you very much for having me. I really appreciate it. Yeah, my name is Trevor Bernberg. Joined the Air Force in 1977, and first aircraft that I flew as a youngster was this Harvard, being taught on the Harvard at Ternate. From the Harvards, went down to Langebaanweg, got converted onto the Impala Mark I, the two-seater, and from there was stationed at Port Elizabeth, flying the Impala, then on to Petersburg, where we transitioned onto the Mirage 3, the Delta Wing. From that, went on to the Mirage F1 AZ, the ground attack aircraft at Hoedspruit. From the Hoedspruit era, I was then stationed back to Ternate as an instructor on the Harvard, and then eventually ended up in Petersburg, or Polokwane as it's now called, as a pilot attack instructor back on Impalas. But the career started with the Dayglow Beast, 550 horsepower radial motor, and for a youngster, this was a phenomenal machine to fly. It really was a big, powerful machine, and certainly had eyeballs open and wide-eyed as a youngster. Obviously, as a tail dragger, there was no time to sit and relax and think about anything else except flying this machine. As you can see, this as a tail dragger, the lookout on this aircraft on the ground was exceptionally poor. So never ever taxied this aircraft in a straight line, always weave from left to right to make sure that where you are going, that line of taxi is clear, and then swing it around to the next position so that you can see where you're going. The aircraft itself, a formidable basic trainer. They reckon that if you can fly a Harvard, you can fly anything. I could certainly vouch for that. This aircraft was a handful. You need lessons in coordination in starting her. I certainly am not going to show internet how ambidextrous or how they would be out of coordination if I had to try and show you now how we were taught to start this aircraft, but that's for another lesson. Yeah, as time carried on with the aircraft, we were taught basic flying, straight and level turns, climbing turns, landings, glide approaches, engine failures, etc., etc., etc. But what was amazing is during my time at Donata as a pupil pilot, the instructors always told us, look out, look out, look out, look out for other aircraft. Make sure you are safe. Make sure the airspace you're in is safe. Look out. Well, during my time at Donata, I never saw a single airplane. Even they got these bright day glow colors, I never saw a single Harvard. When I came back as an instructor on the Harvards, I also obviously taught my students, look out, look out. It is imperative that you look out. From the back seat, I picked up 10 aircraft per sortie. And that frightened me because not once during my career as a pupil pilot did I see any aircraft. So, yeah, I think the graces of God were also with us that we didn't hurt each other during our flying experience. Further to do with the day glow, that was to enhance visibility on the aircraft, to show the people this is a trainer. They then also, when one went solo, flying the aircraft alone for the first time or up to a certain amount of hours, the instructors attached a red sock behind the tail wheel, which is a further indication to other aircraft that here's a youngster who is trying to look out and not looking out, but anyway, here's a youngster who has taken this beast up and he's now trying to fly alone. So give him a bit of extra space, a bit of extra time, just an extra warning for the other people as well. A real fun aeroplane to fly, and yeah, it certainly taught a lot of pilots in the Air Force their skills, hone their skills on this thing.
So when you now get out of that aircraft, once you've flown it alone, you are ambushed.
You know, because it is one of the SAAF always has a tradition. They've got a lot of traditions. First time you shoot a cannon, first time you shoot a rocket, first time you drop a bomb, there's always something. And of course, the first time you fly this aircraft solo, your feet do not touch the ground. The tradition is your mates come and take you off the airplane. They then take you over to a mud bath and chuck you into this mud bath. It is the most fantastic experience that you are respected and part of a team. To then get dunked into a bath of mud. Yeah, one would think how stupid, how silly, but it was meant for a purpose. I remember it. It was fun.
Female pilots as well, we get faulty there with their hair and everything into it.
You know, in those days, of course, we didn't have any lady pilots. So it was only the males, but I think the females would have also enjoyed the tradition. If we did, certainly why not them? And yeah, I'm very, very adamant that if we had ladies flying, they would be adept in very capable of flying this aircraft as well. No reason why not.
I spoke to an Israeli Air Force officer. He was actually a fighter ace, quite a famous one. They have many, but this one was outstanding. And I asked him, I said to him, female pilots, what do you think? And he said, no problem. He said, in fact, when he was training them, they would be more attentive and they would try very hard to be a smooth pilot.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what a smooth pilot is, but he seemed to be impressed.
Yeah. Now, the lady, you know, and the lady, there's no reason. Look, everybody's got different opinions about being frontline. But in all honesty, I can't see why a lady cannot do a job as good as, if not better, than a male. No reason.
For those of you who don't know, it was a South African Jewish girl who actually sued the Israeli Air Force, I think in 1983, to become aircrew. She never did, but she opened the way for someone else. And the president at that stage of Israel was a very good fighter pilot himself in his younger days. And he told places to go and knit socks or something. It is one of those famous things. But I understand this aircraft has something in common with Boeing and with airliners for the pilot, that you can take a wee while you sit in this thing, which makes it fascinating, guys.
When I go ahead, I hope, Mr. Charles Wheeler, I apologize, my friend, I apologize. It is true. I'm not too sure about the front cockpit, but the back cockpit definitely has a little tube. And we went out on a training mission, teaching our students how to fly close formation. And myself and my student, we were leading. And I told my student, just you fly straight and level. And I see Charles and his student come tucking in close behind us. Obviously, he's now teaching his student the formation drills directly behind us. And I couldn't resist it. And I decided to wee on his head.
They lose a bit. It falls down with a pipe.
Unfortunately, Charles was fast enough to see this little lot happening, and he pulled out of that formation very quickly. So again, in front of this camera, I'm sorry, Charles, I apologize.
I just want to say we have an old flight engineer helping us on Legacy, Wim Toy. Now Wim joined the Air Force, I think, in 1958 or 59 as a youngster. And in 65, he became a second class of a Allo Freeze, and then he got shot in the chest. He forgot to tell his wife, by the way. He said he fell off a bicycle. But today he's sitting with oxygen because of that. Of course, he became later a Royal Navy, New Zealand Navy captain. But anyway, Wim, as he wants to be called, said he would take the young appies and he would tell them to suck this pipe. Which is Air Force humor, I suppose.
At its darkest. At its darkest. At its darkest.
Did you ever have the feeling that the student pilots trying to murder you?
No. They all wanted to get their wings. And sometimes I think I wanted to murder them. But in all honesty, no. They obviously trying their very best, and their very best sometimes ended up in not always being, but that's how you learn. Nobody just climbs into an airplane like this and flies it perfectly. So a lot of training, a lot of briefing, a lot of understanding why, how. And once the training kicks in, it's very, very strict training. And through that, mistakes are learned, rectified, and polished. So it's not impossible to fly this airplane. It takes a lot of hard work. But a lot of strict learning took place.
But it seems to me that the SAAF started doing things a bit upside down. It takes the most difficult aircraft to master in the beginning, and then it becomes a bit easier later on.
If you take how many pilots this aircraft has trained, and once you trained on the most difficult, it certainly does become easier. But this aircraft was, I won't say unforgiving. You had to have your finger out all the time. You flew this aircraft either on the ground or in the air. You had to be very vigilant about this aircraft. And it taught one not to be complacent when flying. You can't be complacent when you fly. And this aircraft certainly taught one that seriousness of flying.
Yeah. Well, guys, if you want to see this aircraft yourself, please come here. Please have a look at it. It's magnificent standing next to it. When you see it fly there and it makes this incredible sound, which you explained to me, is actually, it's not that you're gunning or revving it or something on purpose above somebody's swimming pool. It's a way you something.
The story goes that you're changing gears over my house. That what it actually was is the aircraft has got a hooter. So you bring the throttle back to idle, and with the undercarriage up, it'll give a blaring horn. You open up the power again. It was a test to see that the hooter is working. So in case you forget the gear, that the hooter would go off. So often the story would go, no, they're changing gears over my house. I don't know why, but no, there's no gears in this airplane.
Yeah, sound of freedom, boys. Sound of freedom. Thank you for coming, sir. We really appreciated your time.
Koos, thank you very much for having me. I really enjoyed it. Thank you.
And now I have to admit something here. It's the second time we're recording everything. We made a mistake with the sound on the first one. I'm so sorry.
So it is.
Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, and ring the bell to receive notifications.